Hey,
Can I stop in for a minute? I came by to talk to you.
you came by to talk to me?
Carlos, who is it?
Why don't you come out here and find out for yourself?
Why do you always have to have something smart to... Oh, hi.
Hi, I didn't mean to interrupt anything. I just wanted to ask you guys a few questions.
No, we're fine. Why don't you come inside for a minute? Daniel's murder did have us all a bit shaken up. It's still hard to believe.
It's unfortunate that something like that had to happen to Daniel. He had his whole life ahead of him.
Yeah, that's the reason I'm here. The police don't seem to regard this as that big a case.
Wait a second. What does Daniel's death have to do with us?
Yeah, what can we tell you that we didn't tell the police? We didn't see anything.
The police seem to think that the assailants had some ties to Wisteria Lane, so they're investigating 2 people who live on Wisteria Lane. You're one of them, Carlos.
They suspect me. I went to jail for embezzlement, for Christ's sakes. I'm not a violent man.
Well, there was that incident with the cable man. It had something to do with certain preferences.
Jesus, Mary and Joseph, I am not a homophobe. That was a misunderstanding.
Yeah? Well, they're wrong. Carlos would never do anything to hurt Daniel. I know for a fact that he couldn't have that night. We were both home and in bed by 11.
Does everyone around here make a habit of being out late?
Actually, I wasn't exactly following my normal routine that night. See, earlier in the day, Carlos tried to drag me into another one of his charity benefits.
Oh, here we go.
I'm not talking to you, sweetie. Stay out of it.
Listen, honey, she came over here to talk to me.
Carlos doesn't want you to know that he threw a fit because I didn't want to go to his little party. We fought about it for hours. Then we had the makeup sex. Then we fought again. Then more makeup sex.
Yeah, we didn't make the charity event, but I definitely gave it my all. As did Gabby.
For your information, I had a number of appointments scheduled that day with a number of business professionals.
Uh-huh, and which professional was it this time? Henri? Pierre? That guy with the mole?
It's called a beauty mark, and that doesn't make him any less of a professional. Anyway, I had to keep my appointments and wound up pushing my workout back to the end of the day. So, I didn't go for my run until much later that night. And Carlos came home right after I did. We were together for the rest of the night.
Yeah, we still had some issues to resolve. Upstairs, if you know what I mean.
Carlos, have you ever heard of such a thing as too much information? I just remembered something else from that night. It involved whipped cream, strawberries...
Okay. Not that I don't find this fascinating, but if both of you were in your house, who exactly was wandering around Wisteria on the night of the murder?
Actually, when I was running back home, I thought I saw 2 people milling around your house. It was pretty dark. I guess my eyes could have just as well been playing tricks on me.
Did you tell the police what you saw?
No? Why would I tell them that? I could have been seeing trees blowing in the wind or something.
That's the kind of thing you tell them, even if you're not sure. This way they can investigate. That's what they do, Gabby. Well, I definitely didn't see anything out of the ordinary that night. I'm sorry, I can't help you out any further.
Why are you apologizing to her for not seeing anything? God, Carlos, you can be such a wimp sometimes.
Sounds like I should look into who was sneaking around my house that night. Talk to you later.
And another thing, Carlos.
Hello?
Hey, Frank. I talked to both suspects now, Mike Delfino and Carlos Solis. They both have solid alibis, so that doesn't leave me with much to go off of.
Damn. There must be something the police overlooked. Doesn't it seem weird that no one else saw or heard anything else that night?
Gabby did mention that she heard some people around my house that night.
Seeing as how it is your house, and both you and your husband were out at the time, the only logical person to talk to about that would probably be...
My son.
Let me know what you find out.
Let's garden first. Actually, let's talk to our son first.
Hey, Mom. What's up?
Oh, nothing much. I just wanted to talk to you for a bit. This is important, Nick Carter. On the night that Daniel Fox died, did you hear anything strange?
That's a really strange question.
It may be, but I'm trying to figure out what happened the night Daniel died, and I think you might have some answers.
Don't you remember? I was grounded. I didn't go anywhere that night.
Exactly why he would have heard something. I'm just saying.
You know what's funny? If you and Dad would just let me stay out later, I'd probably be able to help you out right now.
Okay, but did you actually hear anything that night? The police said that Daniel put up quite a fight.
I told you I was in all night. I was playing Utter Warfare online with this guy I know from the web forums. Double Trouble.
Double Trouble is Frank, though.
I figured since nobody was home, I'd crank the volume up pretty loud. So there's no way I would have heard anything. Are you done with the interrogation now, Mom?
Perhaps because you've lied to me before and because you're a teenager and that's what teenagers do.
I was just telling you what you wanted to hear.
Don't give me that. You're dripping with sarcasm here, and I don't appreciate it.
Geez, you know what? You're worse than Danielle's mom. The both of you make a habit of nagging and bugging people. Why can't you just leave me alone? Why are you so hung up on this? I mean, I know he wasn't your boyfriend or anything. He didn't even play for that team, did he? Other than you and his brother. Who's really gonna miss him anyway?
How can you even say something like that? He was so nice to everyone.
Look, Mom, I'm sorry your friend is dead, but I don't know anything. I promise. So drop it already.
Fine. I've had enough abuse anyway. I thought I'd get a sympathetic ear, but obviously that's impossible in this house. Alright, and since our son mentioned what a bitch Bree is...
Hello. What a pleasant surprise.
It's nice to see you as well.
To what do I owe the pleasure?
I don't know if you heard, but I've been hunting for clues to find Daniel's killer.
I'm afraid you're wasting your time. I don't know anything about Daniel's murder.
Oh.
There's only one thing that comes to mind when I think of that night. But it certainly isn't going to bring Daniel's killers to justice, so it's probably better not to speak of it. And you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Sorry, not a clue. Actually, wait. What? I have no idea what happened to Edda's garden.
What? I never said anything about Edda.
Then what?
That was the night your son attempted to court my daughter.
He told me he was in his room playing games that night.
You might want to get the poor boy a dictionary then.
Why did it go down? It's not my fault.
That night, he and Danielle were coming back from their date. I caught Danielle trying to sneak back into the house. She knew better than to stay out that late. I assume your son was the bad influence. I saw them coming out of your house looking guilty as sin. And then your son had the nerve to try to sneak in with Danielle.
Mom, haven't you done enough? Now you're talking to the neighbors about this? Haven't you embarrassed me enough already?
I'm not trying to embarrass anyone, dear. You do more than enough of that for the both of us. Needless to say, they were surprised when I greeted them on the porch. I sent your son home immediately. Then Danielle and I had an interesting talk that evening.
The two of them were out that night, together.
Do you know what this means?
Yeah, it means we were out that night.
Thank God nothing happened to them.
I used to think my Danielle was incapable of hurting a fly, but she is susceptible to dangerous boys.
Oh, calm down, Bree. They weren't even holding guns. They were holding flashlights. I can't. What's up, Sammy?
Do you seriously think I'm capable of that? The police said Mr. Fox was killed at 11 that night. And if you remember, you sent him home way before that. You went off on your whole high and mighty, and of all things, on a school night tirade and sent me to bed. Besides, I refuse to defend myself. You're insane for even thinking this. If only Dad were still alive.
Danielle, you will always be my daughter. But after what this family has been through, and especially after what you've put me through, it will take more than a few words for me to trust you again, considering you never even told me what you two were up to that night.
Ugh.
Well, if Danielle doesn't have anything to tell us, there's just one person left. Your son. Maybe you'll have more luck getting the truth out of him.
Yes, and may God have mercy on his soul. Let's call Frank again. See what he has to say about her son being an asshole.
Hello?
Frank, here's the latest scoop. There were two strangers on Wisteria Lane the night of our murder. Or the murder. This is embarrassing, but the two strangers were none other than my son and Brie Vandekamp's daughter, Danielle.
What are you saying? Do you think they're responsible?
Well, I can only speak for my son. He can be a pain in the butt, but he's not capable of anything violent. Danielle, on the other hand, I don't know. That family is full of surprises.
Did you have any idea it was the two of them out there that night?
No, not really. My son said he was playing that video game with his friend Double Trouble online.
What game?
Utter Warfare? That Other Wayfarer or something like that. Utter Warfare, I think.
Yeah, Utter Warfare. That sounds right.
That's your fucking game! Double Trouble is your screen name, or username, or whatever.
Double Trouble is my screen name. And as you obviously know, I wasn't playing any games that night. You need to talk to your son again. See what else he forgot to mention to you.
Oh, so wait, someone was randomly using his screen name and playing games with the son? Oh, wait. Oh, just kidding. Okay, I just realized that just proves that our son was lying because he wasn't playing and that's his screen name. I can't believe he looked me in the eye and lied to me like that. What the hell is he hiding? Can we use that as like a defense thing? Like, hey, I just talked to Frank and Double Trouble is his screen name, you bastard. You're lying to me. Look at him staring out the window. You better feel guilty. Come back here. He's a pretty attractive boy, I'm not gonna lie. I did good. I did really good. It must be so weird for a mom to have, like...
Hey, Mom. What's up?
I was gonna say, it must be so weird that, like, once he was, like, a little baby and she was holding him in her arms and now he's taller than she is. That must be really strange. I think that'll be, like, the weirdest thing. Like, if/when I become a mother, the whole, like, oh my god, I have a little baby infant, and then all of a sudden one day they're taller than you are. Like, that'll be the weirdest part for me, I think. Like, you came out of my vagina and now you're humongous. There isn't too much going on with me, however... You, on the other hand, have got a lot of explaining to do.
About what?
Just a few moments ago, you said you were in the house all night, but I know you weren't.
What? Why don't you ever trust me? You're just coming from out of nowhere with all this. And I know you're making this up. You can't prove anything.
Usually I do trust you, but right now I don't think I should. I just talked with Bria and Danielle, and they both said they saw you out that night.
That girl just can't keep her mouth shut.
Yeah, but isn't that why you were interested in her?
What? No.
Bullshit, you wanted your dick sucked.
She's fun.
Right, so now that we gotten the lies out of the way, let's see about hearing the truth.
Okay. Danielle and I went out that night. But nothing really major happened. So, I didn't feel the need to bring it up.
Let's be honest here, you forgot to bring it up because we were out past your curfew and you didn't want to get in trouble. Last chance. Is anything else coming back to you now?
After Mrs. Vandekamp finished her angry diatribe, I left and came home. And that's the truth.
As I understand it, the truth is that she yelled at the both of you and sent you home.
That's one way of looking at it.
It is. Is there anything else you can remember?
Nope. I did see someone standing outside the Scavo house talking to some car.
Was it Lynette?
I don't know. I guess it could have been Mrs. Scavo.
You could have saved us both a lot of trouble if you'd have just told me that you saw Lynette flirting with some strange car in the first place, Nick Carter. Goodbye. Oh, it's gonna be time for the thing soon.
Hello?
So, about Daniel's murder, I have some new information. Not too long ago, I caught Nick Carter in a lie, and he told me everything he knew about the night in question. He even told me he saw a car he didn't recognize near the Scavo house.
That doesn't sound like something Lynette would do.
Obviously, you've never gone out drinking shots with her. LOL!
Yeah, it sounds like you need to get things cleared up over at the Scavo house.
Who's running this investigation, you or me?
I thought the cops were.
Right, technically, but since they're clearly going about it the wrong way, I'm running my own. Don't worry, if I find out anything significant, I'll let you know.
Hey, you. We haven't talked in a while. What's new?
Hey, Lynette, I wanted to come by and talk to you about the night Daniel was killed. That's a conversation starter.
That said, he was my neighbor, and I was hoping he'd be my friend. It's an awful tragedy.
I couldn't agree with you more. That's why I'm hoping you can help. I'm trying to help the police with their investigation.
I think we're a bit old for the whole detective thing, but go ahead. What do you need? I'm not sure I can help you with anything, but let's give it a try.
Who knows? Maybe we both can help. What's the problem?
Someone told me they saw you flirting with someone in a suspicious car the night Daniel was murdered.
Listen, I don't know what your eyewitness was smoking, but Lynette barely has enough energy to lift herself into bed at night, let alone chat with some stranger.
Yeah, this is a little bizarre anyway. I was asleep by 9 o'clock that night. Who thinks they saw me? It's crazy.
It's my son, and he said you were flirting with the guy.
What? Is this your game? Spreading rumors about my wife? You know, I've heard some things about your son. I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, but he sounds like nothing but trouble.
Whoa, everyone calm down. I was in bed by 9 that night, so it obviously wasn't me your son saw. Where was this car?
Honestly, I'm not asking for excuses. I just need to know what happened.
Yeah, hope he's not spreading these little assumptions any further than you. You know, to be fair, I do remember something strange from that night.
Not me. I was sound asleep.
Yeah, my little watchdog here. Wouldn't wake up if a tornado ripped the roof off the house.
I sleep soundly. Is that a crime?
Anyway, Tom was fast asleep. Some noise had woken me up, and I couldn't get back to sleep.
Yeah, she's like that. Her mind's always racing. Needs a horse tranquilizer to get her back to bed. But maybe we should get back to helping out with this case. So, what do you remember that night?
I was looking for something to read to help me fall asleep, and I thought I left it on the windowsill. When I looked, there wasn't any magazine, but I saw Gabby on the sidewalk.
What was she doing out that late?
She was running around the neighborhood.
Are you telling me that Gabby was running errands at midnight and decided to stop and have a conversation with a stranger?
No, Tom, she was literally running in her very tight pink jogging outfit. You know, the one you're always staring at.
Of course. That makes sense now. Gabby was flirting with some guy. It's actually pretty funny that anyone would think you were flirting with someone.
Tom, what are you implying?
You just don't flirt. Well, often. You don't flirt often.
Now that I'm a mother, am I supposed to be asexual now? Is it out of the realm of possibility that I might flirt with a man and that a man might find me to be attractive? Okay, I don't mean to be rude, but Tom and I have a few things to discuss.
Yeah, Gabby did tell me she was out that night, although she neglected to let me know that she talked to Daniel's killers during her jog. Sounds to me like I need to clarify some things with Gabby. Thanks for the info.
So, tell me, did you find out anything new about Daniel's case?
You bet I did, and that's why I'm here.
Okay, what's up?
Tom and Lynette poked a hole in your little story not too long ago. It was after 11. What were you doing outside at such a late hour?
I told you I went out running that night, didn't I?
I really wouldn't consider you cavorting with some stranger in a car an ordinary thing, would you?
Gabby, what is she talking about? Just what were you up to that night?
I don't know. There was some guy.
Some guy?
No, wait. 2 guys, actually. They were really confused.
Oh, it's all coming back to you now. Come on, Gabby, who were they? Do you remember their names?
Of course they had names. The one that talked with me in the passenger seat. His name started with an L, but I can't remember what it was. Well, they did freak me out at first, but he was just asking for directions. It was pathetic. The guy tried to flirt with me. I mean, come on. He was driving last year's model. Did he think I'd even give the time of day to a guy in a car like that?
Whoa, back up, Gabby. Who was this guy? Why was he flirting with you?
Carlos, it's not technically flirting if it's one-sided. And trust me, this was one-sided. I was just being nice. Besides, I don't usually fall for the kind of guys you see on the FIB's most wanted list. Unless you were on it, sweetie.
Gosh, thanks. I guess.
Yeah, details. I need details.
What exactly do you want to know?
Tell us exactly what happened that night, Gabby. Everything. Then our friend here can find out what she needs to know and do her little detective thing somewhere else.
You know, I don't see you doing anything to help.
Right. Well, I was out running and... And that was it. See? You were all getting excited over what turned out to be nothing. These guys got lost. They pulled over and I gave them directions. And then they went off on their merry little way. Sorry. No clues or red herrings or anything, Sherlock.
Just out of curiosity, where were they going?
Oh, they wanted directions to the Fox house.
They what?
I'd say that was definitely important information.
My God. Gabby, how is it that this is the first time we've all heard about this?
Come on, I mean, what's the big deal? They were lost, and I was trying to help them. I was just trying to be helpful.
Well, you sure picked a wonderful time to start. Do you have any idea what this means? You're an accessory to murder, Gabby, and you withheld information from the police. Hell, I could be violating parole just for being around you. They could throw me back in jail. Is that what you want?
How would I have known what they were up to. I don't see what the problem is. I mean, they would have found the house sooner or later. He's in the phone book, you know. Like, are they the worst criminals you've ever heard of? Having to ask directions to a hit. It's just pathetic.
I think you should take a deep breath and listen to what you're saying. All right, just forget it. I don't want to hear any more from you. You've done enough. At least we have a better idea of what went down that night. And lucky you. You managed to get an eyewitness that found a way to help facilitate the murder, but somehow can't remember the name of the killer who tried to hit on her.
Wait a minute.
Carlos, you'd put her to bed before she decides to do any... You'd put her... I feel like that should be you'd better put her to bed before she decides to do any more favors for strange men.
Yeah, your guess is as good as mine. I'll say one thing, though. She sure is taking her time.
Okay, I'm back. This is for you.
What is this supposed to be?
It's the guy's phone number from that night.
You kept his number?
Now I remember. His name was Leonard, but my friends call me Leo. Yeah, didn't do much for me when he said it either.
What reason could you possibly have to keep his number?
Relax, Carlos. I put it in my pocket and just forgot about it since then. Like you'd expect me to wear the same hoodie twice?
Well, it's very convenient, isn't it?
Thanks for the number. You two clearly have some serious things to talk about.
Hello?
Hey, who's this?
What?
Clean out your ears and listen the next time someone asks you a question.
Okay, where do I talk into? Hey, Vinny, what am I supposed to do? How does this work? Jesus Christ, are you a moron? You talk into the phone and say something like, leave a message after the beep. Or Big Sammy sleeps with the fishes. Your choice. Hey, what are you doing? You're recording right now. You gotta start over. I don't want my voice on your stupid answering machine.
Hello?
Frank, I've got it!
Keep talking.
That night, Gabrielle talked to a guy who was looking for your house. He told her he worked for Corsetti Pharmaceuticals, and then the creep tried to shove his business card into her bra.
Vincent? Corsetti? The Vincent Corsetti?
Yeah, do you know him personally or something?
It's nothing. Let's make sure it's the same guy before we start jumping to conclusions.
Okay, I can do that.
This is Vincent.
Vinny, it's me. I just heard something and I need your help.
Okay, shoot.
Haven't you done enough of that lately?
What are you talking about?
I think you know.
I'm sorry. I honestly have no idea what you're talking about.
Think hard. Remember the name? Daniel Fox?
Fox? I don't know what you're looking for. I was as upset as anyone else when I heard about his untimely passing. It was an absolute tragedy. Poor preening bastard was doing so much for the community.
Is there anything you might know about his death?
I'm sorry. I'm not the right guy to ask about that. If you're looking for answers or closure, the police are still investigating the crime. I'm sure they're doing everything they can to find out who's behind Fox's death.
Actually, I think the police are on the wrong trail.
What makes you say that?
There was a suspicious man creeping around that night. His name is Leo. He claims to know you.
Sorry, name doesn't ring a bell. How does this relate to me exactly? I mean, I do business with a lot of people. It's always possible that I met him at some point. You know, it's funny. You wouldn't believe how many people there are running around saying they're friends with Vincent Corsetti. On any given day, a man in my position may meet dozens of people. I can't be expected to remember everyone I've met. Give me a break.
I heard you talking on his outgoing answering machine message.
Oh, right. That Leo. Yeah, maybe I know who you're talking about. Oh, yeah, Leo. I think he works at the pharmaceutical office. We have a lot of employees, though. I don't know them all by name.
Not unless he was the kind of employee that found himself at a murder scene on my street.
Listen, I understand how difficult it must be for you. You miss your friend and you're trying to find answers. But you're barking up the wrong tree here. I'm sure if you just give it some time, you'll find out that there are better days coming your way. One thing I've found in my years of doing business is people usually get what's coming to them.
Yeah, what comes around goes around. People get what they deserve.
Listen, I'd love to keep talking to you, but I've got an important business call on the other line. I've got to go, but let's talk later. We have a lot to talk about. Goodbye for now.
A likely story.
What the hell do you think you're doing?
I'm getting ready to hang up on some jerk that just called me up to yell at me. How about you?
Look, this is not a game.
You're the one who called me up and started yelling at me.
You shouldn't be speaking with Vincent.
And what makes you think it's any of your business who I talk to on the phone?
In my job, I sometimes have to observe certain members of the community. And I became aware of your recent contact with Vincent.
You've been stalking me, haven't you?
Don't worry. It's not you that we're investigating.
I see, so you're just snooping on me, is that it?
I really shouldn't be telling you this. It's classified. But it's for your own good. Vincent is being monitored by the government. His calls, his business dealings, everything. And from what I gather, you don't even... Actually, we shouldn't be having this conversation over the phone. You never know who's listening.
With all the trouble you're making for me, this had better be pretty damn important.
I have to take care of some things. But whenever you're ready to meet in person, call me back. My time is valuable. But so is what I have to tell you.
You're really working that enigmatic thing, aren't you? Bye.